all for, first of all, to joining our seminar, first seminar within this year project. We actually have started this project last year. It was in British Council Creative Spark Education Enterprise Program. Second year of our project, we are continuing with Middlesex University from the UK. So during the first year of our project, we had implemented an idea of bringing innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship forefront during our teaching and trainings. Lots of things have been done. We have developed a new curricula for design studies. And the second year of the project undertakes the establishment of Enterprise Hub together with our partners to provide support for those who are thinking of establishing a new firm, enterprise, or otherwise starting their entrepreneurship activities. Especially we think to support and encourage women. Today's seminar is an official opening of our Virtual Enterprise Hub. The goal of the Virtual Enterprise Hub is to involve more women in creation of micro businesses and encourage and empower females to become entrepreneurs. This is critical to balance entrepreneurship at the national level, since male dominance, as you know, in Azerbaijani economy is evident. According to State Statistic Committee of Azerbaijan, number of female entrepreneurs is a lot higher than of male entrepreneurs. It's about 3.5 times more. An increasing number of women involved in entrepreneurship will have a significant impact, we believe, on Azerbaijani economy, considering the fact that majority of population, above 50% of population, is female. Another opportunity is created, actually, it would sound funny, but it's created by COVID-19. Although we face lots of restrictions, is also an opportunity that comes with the technology. And today's seminar is organized around that topic. What are the opportunities and challenges created by the technology nowadays? And Ms Gunay Kazimzade, who's a doctoral researcher on artificial intelligence at the Weinsbaum Institute of the Network Society in Berlin, Germany, kindly agreed to lead our first seminar. Thank you for that. I will tell more about her background. She's a PhD student in computer science at the Technical University of Berlin, currently working with the research group Criticality of Artificial Intelligence-Based Systems. Her main research directions are gender and racial bias in artificial intelligence, inclusiveness in artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence enhanced education. She is a TEDx speaker and was highlighted in European Women in Technology Conference 2018 in Amsterdam, gathering more than 4,000 female digital leaders from Europe. Currently, she's managing the social platform Tech Centrum, which is aiming for knowledge exchange in emerging tech field. So Gunay Hanım will tell us more about her opportunities and challenges she has faced throughout her career. And I think this is very good case for our students who are willing to become a new entrepreneurs. So Gunay Hanım, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Razia Hanım, and it's my honor to be the first speaker of this really creative program, a very important program, and thanks a lot again for the invitation. I think you basically covered up everything about my background, but to be honest, when we are talking about the successes, the achievements, and the everything, it seems like sometimes that it's like, you know, like the tick, 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 you did this, you did that, but for sure, like achieving things, and most importantly in the countries like Azerbaijan, where, as you mentioned, the male domination is very evident, it was very, very challenging and very, very energy demanding. So I started actually my career, if we can call it like this, as an applied mathematics student in Azerbaijan at Lomonosov Moscow State University. And actually from the first day it was challenging because, you know, applied math is actually the mathematics and technical subject. They are always male dominated, but our faculty was actually very adjusted, and we had 50-50 female and male representatives. But even though from that days I was very sure that I will go into the direction of computer science, and I would like to develop my career in technology. And from that day, it was lots of challenging coming up with these opportunities and facing the challenges and facing the barriers that are coming with this desire to become a computer scientist. So as our majority audience here are students, I would say that the first intention and the first steps towards building the career was for sure in terms of building my hard skills and soft skills, like technical skills, as well as the skills like presentation and networking skills, and like the ability to transform these challenges into real opportunities. But afterwards, after choosing like going to master degree abroad in Germany, like I did my master degree in computer science in Germany, it was also again challenging because of the like when you are applying for, I think there is the someone's microphone is unmuted. Maybe we can, yeah, thanks a lot. So my computer science master's degree was also very challenging, because when you are coming from the education background from one country, you cannot adapt to the other education system very fast. So this adaptation process was very challenging, but I think I took this opportunity to connect with other international students and the people who had more experience than I had back then. So learning from them, knowledge exchange, I think that was the first tactic towards that. But if we are coming to the topic of entrepreneurship, and I would actually not call myself like an entrepreneur, because what I have done in the last 10 years is building, the puzzles, like bringing up puzzles together and bringing the puzzle of my talent, like what I'm good at, let's say. It's like mathematics and technical skills, programming, and the things that I have motivation, like helping people, educating people, consulting people. And the third puzzle was for sure the bringing this all together to have a profitable outcomes for me. So I was firstly very much involved in social entrepreneurship. Like as soon as I finished my master's degree in computer science, I came back to Azerbaijan. I actually started working as a adjunct lecturer at Khazar University. I was teaching calculus, I was teaching programming and other subjects, but in parallel, I have started the social project for women in tech.
We're losing your voice.
Yeah. Someone is unmuting me. I don't know why. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now hear you. Yeah,
okay, great. So I will continue. So the project that I have started together with the bigger women empowerment platform was called the Tech project, where we have like under one umbrella, we have gathered all partners, companies, education centers who are delivering programming courses and the courses for IT professionals for women, and the young, brilliant Azerbaijani women in tech. And we were able to educate more than 3,000 Azerbaijani women in tech field. And after that, that was like an idea for me to go further in social entrepreneurship. And in 2019, I have founded the project called Tech Centrum. I actually made this like initiative purely remote, because back then in 2018, I moved back to Germany, to Berlin, and I have started my PhD project. So being physically present in Azerbaijan was impossible. But I had very enthusiastic group of volunteers who helped to make this social project, social enterprise, if we can call it like this, happen. So in 1 year, we have managed to educate around 1,000 people from underrepresented communities in Azerbaijan in the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science. And currently, this social platform have been transformed to the training and consultancy social enterprise again, which is now more directed, currently directed to European startups, European companies, small businesses, and individuals who are interested in machine learning and AI field. So basically, we are educating them, we're consulting them in the field of AI and mostly data strategy, like long vision strategy. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
I think again.
I think we need to make an announcement. Please do not mute someone else's microphone. Mute your own microphone, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I think maybe it's just accidentally happened. So yeah, if I will wrap up everything, I think maybe we can continue the discussions over this topic. Maybe the participants has more specific questions, but in terms of transforming challenges into opportunities as a female scientist and as a female small entrepreneur, I think that was mostly trying to understand where I can be most helpful, and the social barriers. Like as a woman, you are always expected to know less than, for sure, men, and breaking the stereotypes was the first step. Especially in Europe, when you are talking about artificial intelligence, people are expecting the 40 years old man who already works for 20 years in the field, who is expected to know more than you in terms of training and consultancy. Breaking these barriers was the first step, was the most difficult step, I would say. And afterwards, building the very honest relationship with the people, with the partners, with the customers, and like honesty, I mean, like trying to be the most, trying to express your honesty in the ways that you would be helpful for the people, not only from the profit perspective, but also from the perspective of the contribution in the sense of development, even if these people are not your customers, or they are not paying you, basically. So yeah, I would wrap up it in general terms, like being a female small entrepreneur might be challenging, yes, but taking one step in a day, like small steps. You don't have to, I don't know, build something in 1 day or in 1 year. You can just, as I mentioned, bring puzzles all together, try to adapt to the current situation. For example, COVID-19, of course, it changed a lot of things, but it also somehow reactivated my idea to go into virtual training and consultancy, which helped me to develop this area of my life as well, because I was working mostly from home, and I don't know, for someone it was like a waste of time working from home, or you cannot be productive, but for me it was like double productive time, because I was able both to contribute to my scientific work, also to the small projects, or whatever we call it, in terms of side business or side projects. So yeah, I hope that I just covered everything that I wanted to mention, but I'm very, very looking forward to the interactive conversation. So it would not be just my monologue and telling you what, what was the challenges and what were the opportunities on that. So feel free to jump in and ask questions, because I would like to share everything, because, I cannot share in 20 minutes like all past 10 years, but if you have some specific questions, I would be very keen to answer.
Yes, thank you very much, Gunay Khanım. It was extremely interesting for us, and especially for students who want to start anew. I think students now are ready to ask their questions, but first question, may I ask my first question? So the main idea of our project is to encourage and empower women to start to think about their businesses, what they can do and how they can be successful in Azerbaijani market. But not everyone comes with maths or artificial intelligence background. It's a kind of a challenge nowadays when you have to do everything through technology. But what would be your first advice for someone who is not coming from artificial intelligence background or math background? And what was your biggest challenge when you entered the market? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's a very important question, because actually you don't need to know technology in order to, you don't need to be technology expert in order to build your company. Or your startup or your small project, doesn't matter, because like if you would look to my experience, I was mostly working, like if it's a social enterprise, with a group of volunteers or with a group of other people who would contribute from the perspective of, let's say, marketing, from the perspective of PR, or the perspective of process analytics. But like, it only depends on your idea and which idea you want to build your project. And if you really understand what is your business or what is your product is about, then you will just engage people who are very good at in their specific area, who would help you to build this product. Let's say if you're building some app, you will work with mobile developers, you would work with the people who are very good in, let's say if it's an e-commerce platform, in e-commerce, in marketing, in digital marketing mostly. So it's only engaging people who would be contributing to your product, to your business, and you don't have to be expert in everything at the same time. You just have to very much believe into your idea. And again, that does not have to be in the area of technology. You can just make a little, I don't know, you can open up your small bakery, and this also can be a small entrepreneurship, and you don't need any technology for, like almost no technology for making it to work. So yeah, that is the main idea behind it, I think. And you are not the robot to know everything and to solve all the problem by yourself. You just need a good team and the people who believe to your idea the same way that you believe in your idea.
Thank you. Yeah, well, we'll continue. If anyone has a question, you can write to the chat or you can ask yourself. Please go on. Yeah, Gunay Khanım, in your research, you talk about bias in artificial intelligence or inclusiveness in artificial intelligence. I know that the two countries are, you cannot compare Germany and Azerbaijan, but in your studies, what is the relationship? What is the differences between these two cultures in terms of to what degree there is a bias and inclusiveness in artificial intelligence field?
Yeah. So I'm researching the artificial intelligence models in terms of inclusiveness from the cultural perspective. Let's say if one AI product is useful for one, let's say, as you mentioned, for one community in Germany, but it's not applicable for another community in Azerbaijan, let's say. The main issues here is how you train your AI models and how you train your technology, because the artificial intelligence system, they are not the traditional software, and they are not programmed in traditional way. So you need a bunch of quality data to train your models, and this data is representing the audience that you are intending to serve. Let's say if it is like facial recognition system, it would work with not only white faces as it is in Germany, let's say, because Germans are mostly white and blue eyes and this traditional way of looking. But this system should also work with, let's say, black people. It should work with people who have different types of eyes, and they have different types of face structure. So it's all about having inclusive systems which are useful, or which are applicable not only for one very small geographic or whatever location, but it is applicable for the locations or for the communities that are living or serving in different in a variety of countries or communities or places. So that is the main idea behind inclusiveness. And when we talk about bias, when we talk about gender bias in AI-based systems, it's totally very big research community who are tackling this this problem, because gender bias in AI is something that is not coming only from technology. It's not only coming from, let's say, data, how well it is representing male or female candidates. It is coming from society, because, as you mentioned previously, there is a huge gender bias in society, and this gender discrimination is represented in different structures, in different infrastructures, in different data points, if we can call it like this. So these representations are then mapped to the machine learning or AI-based systems that humans are developing. And this gender bias is represented in the decisions, in the company structures, in the development process, and in the general technology development process. So gender bias, the source of the gender bias is it is possible, like there are possibilities of gender bias coming from the different sources. Therefore, it is a bit of very, very complicated research field, to be honest. I would say it because it's already third year that I'm tackling this research direction. So you have to be very specific about the domain. You have to be very specific about the application you are researching. Right now, I'm more concentrated on computer vision, which is the technology of making computers to sense the same way as humans are sensing the reality, like seeing the reality. So as we as humans, we are sensing the reality also in the biased way. Technology is doing the same because we are training the systems with the data that is biased again. So yeah, I'm concentrating my research direction right now on computer vision. And in terms of Azerbaijan and Germany and how, like, what are the differences and how, like, from the research perspective, what are the things that I have analyzed or investigated. This is another interesting thing, because I have conducted a little workshop in 2019, I think, with families living in Azerbaijan and families living in Germany. In Germany, it was mostly refugee families, and the other experiment was with German families. In Azerbaijan, it was like the general audience families. I mean, it was parents and kids together, which were somehow designing their AI toys, which is actually widely used nowadays in US. And that was very interesting research direction for me to understand what are the cultural differences on how our kids and our families are seeing the future of those technologies, and in other countries like Germany. And I would say that I was very, very impressed by the imagination of Azerbaijani kids, because the way they were envisioning the future of AI toys, it was totally breathtaking. Because when German kids or the refugee kids living in Germany, they were very straightforward, and they were just seeing the future of AI in the way that it is somehow represented in Hollywood films or in, I don't know, in comics or something. Azerbaijani kids were much more creative, and I would say that that was very impressive, and I was very proud of this result, because it was also captured in research papers that I was presenting in US and in Germany. So yeah, I hope that I answered your question without being too long. And yeah, if you have any further questions, I would like to answer.
Well, thank you very much, Gunay Khanım. We really enjoy your answers and your stories. Any questions, guys? Anyone is ready to ask his or her question?
I have a question.
Yes, please. Yes, Shujat, please.
Gunay Khanım, for your speech. And I have some questions. The first question is that what is the first thing in the entrepreneurship entrepreneurs should do when they start their own business? And my second question is that what is the role of motivation in this entrepreneurship?
Yeah, thanks a lot for the question. I think there is not a general answer to this question, what should be the first step, because it is very individual, and it is it's based on what idea you have for the business. But in general, I think the first step is like to start, because you would just question yourself what I have to do first, and then you will just, this motivation will go away, and you will think that, okay, I will think about it like maybe in 6 months or 1 month. The first thing is to start doing something for making this happen. But from my own experience, I would say that it is very, very productive to connect with the people who, let's say, already built some business and already made something profitable from the ideas they had. Like, they already built some touchable products, so you can learn from their experience. Or there are lots of innovation, entrepreneurship and acceleration programs in Azerbaijan. Maybe you know them, or I can maybe recommend you lots of them, which are under the Innovation Center of ASAN, or Innovation Acceleration Program under Ministry of High Technologies, and not thousands, but hundreds of others. There are more and more coming. So you, like, connecting those programs and people who would direct you in the right way, I think is the first, possible first step to do. And after connecting with these people and with these programs, educating yourself in the direction of building and making your first prototype, it's very important, because the first prototype is probably something that would not be your final product, but it is something that would initiate you to work further, because you would receive lots of feedbacks from the people who are around. You will test your prototype, and afterwards you would probably make it better and better. So I would say that this is the first steps that you have to do, like right people, building a first prototype, and then engaging the team members who would work on making your product better.
And one more question.
Yeah. Yes, okay, Shujat. Last question, because others are waiting in the queue. Thank you.
What is the role of self-belief in business? Because when I share my business idea with others, especially with women, they say that I don't have self-belief, and some others say that, oh, you cannot do it, and they believe the others, and they don't want to start, and etc.
Yeah, yeah. I think self-belief was one of the most important things, because if you don't believe in your idea, probably no one will gonna believe into that. But how you can develop that? I would say that like if you really don't think that this is a good idea, maybe you don't really have to do it. But if you keep receiving this kind of feedback, like you don't sound very bold or something, maybe it is something that you have to develop as a personality. Let's say maybe it's not about your idea, but it's about yourself. Because maybe you will have one great idea in the future, but again, you will not be able to sell it in the correct way. So probably you have to learn the communication skills and interpersonal skills, and also a bit of probably marketing and business skills for um, for telling the story behind your idea or your product in the ways that it will be somehow catchy, or somehow people would like to invest their time or their energy or their money to that. So I would say that probably work on yourself a bit on that direction, and afterwards rethink about the idea. If you keep receiving the same feedback, maybe you really have to think about the idea again.
No, it's not about me. For example, I share my business idea with other. I believe my self-belief, and I know that I will do that business and I will improve it. But when I share this business idea with others, others think that no, I cannot do it. How can I struggle with this person's? What can I say them to increase their self belief?
Okay. So again, if like it's majority of people who are giving you this feedback, probably in the way of expressing yourself, there is some problem. If you really believe in your idea, like in your mind or in your heart, it's not impossible to, to not to transfer this energy to others. So maybe in the way of transferring this idea, the way of, again, expressing yourself or the story behind, probably that is a problem. Or I would say, like, if those people would not contribute to your project or to your idea, just ignore. Like if you say that, if you think that these people are not contributing or will not contribute, you would not you don't have to go and ask every single person what they think about your idea, because you have to connect with right people who direct you in the right way, or who would invest on your idea. If this is the general audience, I don't know, like if these people are the possible users of your product, yes, that might be relevant to rethink about. But if it's like just the general haters, I would say just ignore.
Okay, thank you very much
that.
for the question, and thank you very much for the answer, Gunay Hanım. And now Razim from Ganja State University wants to ask a question. Please, Razim, go on.
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Razia Hanım, Gunay Hanım, first of all, I would like to thank you for bringing up this issue, because, the innovation, entrepreneurship, especially academic entrepreneurship, one of the challenges in our higher education institutions, because the academic research results, the ideas are not commercialized and turned into business opportunities in our universities mainly. And my question is, what should be the role of universities in encouraging women in entrepreneurship?
I would say, like, if we're talking about Azerbaijan and about Azerbaijani universities, I would say that they are already doing enough for encouraging women entrepreneurs. But again, I would say that there is a very huge social social context behind of the minority of women in entrepreneurship. So the first step is, I think, the women who are like, if we are talking about technology, for sure, women in STEM fields who are very who have very good achievements in their studies, and somehow we are losing them between the universities and the possible businesses or projects they would develop. So where we are losing them, that is a question, and what universities can do in order not to lose them in that time frame or whatever. That is for sure the projects like this, or the projects which would take women, female entrepreneurs who are very much into this entrepreneurship field, and connect them with the right people, again, with the right projects and with the right education and commercializing opportunities. Because I would say that I'm a nerdy, I was a nerdy computer scientist. I didn't have any business or entrepreneurship skills back then, but I was never ever thinking before 2015 about how I can make my skills profitable, let's say. I was just thinking about, this traditional way of, okay, I studied applied math, I studied computer science, I would go and work in industry or whatever, I would gain my salary or whatever, and that's it. But in 2016, I joined the program which was called International Visitors Leadership Program by US Embassy. They were recruiting young females who are into technology and who are very much interested in entrepreneurship, and they took us for 5 weeks to US, and they have connected us with US entrepreneurship systems. Like, we have traveled 5 different states of US, and we have connected with hundreds of entrepreneurs, like female and male entrepreneurs in US. And that was actually the moment, the aha moment that, okay, people are doing this in this country, so I can probably do something similar in my country or in any other countries. So proper education, I think, proper awareness, and being in the right time with right people, I think it's very important. You also mentioned the academic entrepreneurship. I would say that that was the most challenging thing, because, as I mentioned, if you are trained as a computer scientist, you are becoming a computer scientist, and you are not thinking about the business side or about other opportunities that you might use in this field. So for me, it was like turning point with this program, IWLP, but also in Azerbaijan, I was connected with lots of people who are in this field, like entrepreneurs, people who are connected with different, the innovation centers of other countries. And when you are in this bubble, you already have this, that, okay, I can do it, and I can somehow commercialize my also academic skills. And I think that was the case for me. And it was not the university, like my own university, which gave me this opportunity, but I was in touch with lots of universities, like Kazar University, other university, and right people who have recommended me to the right programs. They gave me this opportunity to develop this stuff afterwards. I hope I answered your question, because I really don't have exact answer to that question, because when you look to the ecosystem, you see that everyone is doing what they are supposed to do, but somewhere something is going wrong, and there are not so much female entrepreneurs. But I think that's mostly coming from society and from the stereotypes that we have in society, that women cannot do a lot in business or something. But it's changing. Last 5 years, I see that this increase, and I hope that it will be better and better in the upcoming years.
Thank you, Gunay Hanım, for detailed answer.
Well, thank you. So there is one more question, Gunay Hanım, from Sabina Guriyeva from Pazar University. She asks, as a woman, what kind of difficulties did you have in your career and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think I mentioned most of them, but if I will wrap up all, it's like, again, the social pressure. Like no, it's not like a pressure. We are all raised in some specific way, and mostly in our country, we are very like we are afraid to fail. But entrepreneurship and building something, it's all about failures. Like you are failing and you are doing something again. You are building something from the scratch, then you are failing again and you are doing something again. So it was somehow contradiction with the way that I was raised. I'm coming from very traditional family in Azerbaijan, and that was the first challenge. But how I have faced that, that was probably, I don't know, that was like I was learning on the go, and I was trying to adapt to the situation, but also to stick to my own personal values, which again was challenging, because when you have like very fixed values and you are not compromising on those values, adapting and adjusting the way you work or you communicate with people, that is also a bit challenging. But I hope that I managed to somehow to solve this issue. That was the first thing. And the second one, again, in the way of like not proving yourself, but in the way of how the community and the people are seeing you as an professional, as an expert, or as a personality, because everyone has in their own mind some I don't know, some picture of you, and they're expecting you to behave in that way. Changing that picture was challenging, I think, but again, I hope that I have managed to do that until now. And yeah, hard work, first thing, then sticking to your values and like not jumping from one thing to another, and having the correct vision. I think, like if you have vision of 10 years, 20 years from now, like where you see yourself, I think that's much more easier, and you are not very much distracted from this vision.
Thank you very much, Gunay Hanım. Very, very strong answer. And I think traditional Azerbaijani families are bringing up very strong personality types, and we can evidence that. Thank you very much for the answer. And my, kind of wrap up question would be, as an Azerbaijani, and as a woman, and taking into consideration a big victory we had recently, and that we have restored our territories back. So what would be one ideal, your visionary project that you would like to implement in Azerbaijan for the prosperity of our society? Yes, please.
Yeah. That's a very, very good question, and congratulations actually again to all of us with this great victory. And yeah, that is the best thing that happened to us, I think, in the during this year. And yeah, I'm very proud of our country, our president, and our soldiers. And that is a very important question, I think, because I was thinking about it from the first day of when our soldiers liberated each of our occupied territories. I was thinking what we can do for making these places flourishing again. From the perspective of entrepreneurship and technology, I think the first thing, well, the first approach we should take is the innovative approach for making these places the most developed place in our region is the proper education and the proper the development strategies that we should build, and this should definitely bring the technological perspective to this overall strategy. I'm already actually building, wrapping up my ideas for the further recommendations for the development of this places, and I'm actually from Zengilan, and that is my vision, that probably we have to start building innovative schools in this places, like in every region of occupied, already liberated territories. And these innovative schools would bring the innovative technology entrepreneurship centers, also female entrepreneurship centers, also the creative schools with design and technology perspective. I would say that this is the first step, because the education and proper education and technology is the future, and we have to bring that vision to the liberated territories. And in the overall development, the economical development of the whole Azerbaijan, I think as a whole, should be taken from the perspective, again, of innovations and technology. I hope that in the nearest future, we will see even more made in Azerbaijan entrepreneurs and projects coming not only from Baku and other regions, but also from liberated territories of Azerbaijan. And I wish that this territories that we have liberated from the occupation would flourish even faster than Baku or other regions of Azerbaijan were flourishing, and all focus of the communities, like worldwide communities, would focus on these areas, how flourishing they are, and how good we have managed and fast we have managed to develop those areas.
Oh, thank you very much for an amazing seminar, for outstanding answers and sharing your stories. If anyone has a question, please go on, because we are wrapping up and finishing our seminar. I think I have seen our colleague from Middlesex University, George, you just joined our seminar. We're actually finishing. If you want to say a couple of words, please go on.
Hi, Razia. Sorry, I just I messed up with the time zone difference again. This is why I arrived 1 hour late, actually. It is really reassuring that we see young entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, sharing their skills with everybody. I would really like to ask you, Gunay, probably you might have answered this already, but I've seen the current president of Azerbaijan having a strategy towards innovation and investing in technologies and so on. Were there any particular initiatives that you managed to exploit in order to be able to be successful? Were there any resources made available to you?
Yes, thanks a lot for the question. Actually, recently the Ministry of High Technologies and Transport announced the working group for artificial intelligence strategy of Azerbaijan, because you might also know that most of the countries, like around 50 countries since 2017, already announced their artificial intelligence strategies, and Azerbaijan is not the exception, and we are currently already working on that, and I'm also part of this working group. And I think that is the first, not first, but like the step towards having the bigger strategy for emerging technologies, not only in the main regions of Azerbaijan, but also in the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. And we will for sure include all possible areas for the 2-year, 5-year development plans for emerging technologies in Azerbaijan for this strategy. And innovation strategy of Azerbaijan, it is there already since, I think, 2012 or 13. But this strategy is currently readapted to the other possible strategies, which might include not only specific fields, but all possible fields for making the not only economical but different types of development in Azerbaijan. So I think that that is the huge step towards making this happen, and we are building the huge international community, like scientific community, also for making this happen. And in March we will probably announce the call for actions, and probably all university representatives, and as well as Khazar University and other universities, will be invited to contribute to the strategy. And I'm really looking forward to working with all of you there. And yeah, thanks a lot for the important question, because I really forgot to mention that.
Sorry, I wish I was here from the beginning. I'm going to share the recording. I would have probably 10, 15 questions more, but anyway, one more question, please. As you're aware, with the British Council, we're on the second year working in Azerbaijan in the fields of innovation, entrepreneurship, creativity, and so on. Obviously, through the British Council, we're trying to establish new kind of relationships with young entrepreneurs. So, I mean, perhaps my colleague Razia may have mentioned some of the resources provided, but could you please share with us your insights in terms of what could we do with our projects? Because at the moment, what we're doing is like we're focusing on female entrepreneurship and the regions at the moment. I don't think that our project will be attempting to collaborate with any kind of areas where at the moment they're under crisis. We have to, of course, to understand that there is the British Council who cooperates with all the countries in the region. So considering, let's say, the current collaborations we have, what could we offer in order to help young, and I have to be careful here, it's not only young women, it could be any women actually, you know, like we have also to consider female population that for decades did not have the support, or they are in their 50s, so they think, you know, my life is gone. Life is not gone in the 50s or 60s. Entrepreneurship and innovation is always there for the people who drive for it. So what could we do? What kind of resources should we try to provide to females in Azerbaijan and regions, especially remote areas where, you know, like, because Azerbaijan is not just Baku or Ganja, okay? So what do you think, if you could actually identify a few resources that we could drive our efforts and project for them in the next few months? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That is very huge question, which I would like to answer probably in the separate seminar or in the face-to-face meeting probably. But I would like to mention here, probably you are doing this already, but the importance of bringing more women in STEM. I think that is the possible direction to go further, because as I mentioned previously, or you might miss it, we are losing lots of female entrepreneurs or technology leaders somehow between universities and the real like work environment. We're losing them somewhere where they lose their enthusiasm towards STEM fields, and they are going to any other fields, and where they again feel not accomplished. So probably that is the first direction which might be relevant to follow, with lots of initiatives that is currently actually there in Azerbaijan. You probably know Girls Who Code, Women Who Code, the Feminist Digitalis Club. They all have their own vision and their own strategies for making this happen, but there is no one single bigger platform for bringing this all together, not only from the raising awareness perspective, but also giving practical skills and connecting with right mentors, connecting with right people, and like, again, not losing those girls somewhere between. The second skill, the second thing that I want to mention is when we talk about female entrepreneurship, I mentioned that it's not only about technology entrepreneurship, and it is not about only it's not only about having all skills relevant for making some product or some idea real. It's about the soft skills that people, like females, if we are talking about them, should develop in themselves in order to attract right people to their projects and to their ideas for making this happen. And the soft skills is not less important than hard skills that we are talking about, the technical skills. That might be the second possible direction to go. If again, like, I'm sorry, I'm not very much familiar with every single initiative of British Council, but I would like to learn more. And yeah, you.
Please continue. Sorry.
Yeah. And probably the third thing is you probably heard about the family business support in Azerbaijan. Probably you work with them, like under Asan, there is Abad Center for Family Businesses, and most of the representatives there, like the entrepreneurs there, are females between 40 and 60 years old. And I think this platform is like a real, might be the real role model for taking this as a basis for developing this idea further. It is like developing the ecosystem for this female who would like to actually contribute to the economy of Azerbaijan, but also to accomplish themselves in the way that they would be able to develop something themselves. Doesn't matter if it is like a little handmade something or if it's like a big project or something. So giving this power to women and making their voice to be heard, that might be the like third direction to go. Like right now, I'm just expressing my ideas because I was working with lots of women in Germany, in like refugees in Germany who are working on this projects. Also in US, I have lots of people in contact who are working, but I really don't have in Azerbaijan the community of female entrepreneurs, like 50 plus female entrepreneurs who are like coming up together and who are working on something. And I think connecting these women all together, that might be the first step. And afterwards giving them the right the platform or the right opportunities or resources or tools to develop to make their ideas happen, that might be the possible direction to go. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, these amazing ideas and suggestions. Please rest assured that Razia and I, we will definitely invite you for further focus groups and discussions. The plan is now that there's no, like you don't have the war to affect our project, and hopefully COVID will not be as bad after the summer. We're probably gonna have the conference that we didn't manage to have in the previous year. So hopefully we will see you there, but in other events online as well. One more thing, Razia, just to bridge it, of course, to Razia, because obviously she needs to bring this to an end. I think that coming from a Greek background myself, I can see cultural elements affecting female entrepreneurship. And you spotted it there. Perhaps maybe you didn't want to mention the cultural element, but I will. Sorry?
She mentioned, we discussed that biases.
You mentioned it before, yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Razia. Thanks. But I meant for when she gave the answer before. So I think one of the things that I'd really like to see whether we can do with our projects is to focus. Because actually we have actually put another proposal for with Kazar and another 12 countries for climate change and female entrepreneurship, and these innovative views sometimes are affected by cultural differences. So one of the things that I'd really like to see is whether we can lobby as a project and with the British Council and other projects we have through the European Union funding stream, whether there could be some incentives for females. Because when you finish university and you want to start a family, then family becomes a priority. And unless there are incentives for female entrepreneurs, and that could be anything from vouchers for help with children, additional support for children to be, to be occupied somehow. So females can actually get the opportunity to lead the business. while the society expects them to be a leader in the family, leader like a mother, and then of course entrepreneurship goes at the background. So I think that Razia, perhaps we could have one of the initiatives this year is in 2021 is to focus on how we can find ways for female entrepreneurship to get more incentives and support at society, government level.
Yeah, thank you, George. I think we will think and come up with a plan for the sustainability of our project. As you mentioned, all those activities and plans should come as a sustainability for our project. And I think one specific things we came out from here is that there is an emerging need for specialists like you and I to bring and to talk to students and other female potential entrepreneurs who are thinking of becoming one. And I think we will meet if Gunay Hanım agrees in future to discuss more specifically what kind of questions and issues students or other female entrepreneurs have. But now I would like to thank you one more time because I know how limited your time is and you have another meeting waiting for you. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in our future events. Well, thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for the invitation and see you somewhere in the future.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.